Hey guys, so today I'm going to do a story time. I've never done one of these before, but I used to be obsessed with watching them, so I think I kind of know how it works. So let's get into it. So today I'm going to tell you about my landlord and how I brought it up to him that I was going to get an emotional support dog. The reason I'm making this video is because I want you to know that your landlord isn't allowed to tell you what kind of dog you should get, what size dog you should get, any of that kind of stuff that would normally go with like your pet policy for the home that you live in. If you're renting, your landlord isn't allowed to tell you any of that for an ESA. If you were just getting a normal family dog, if you aren't allowed to get a dog that's above 25 pounds, that can't be certain breeds, you have to follow those restrictions. But if you're getting an ESA, none of those apply. Let's start off with how I came about this. First of all, I read a lot of articles, and because I wanted to get it right, so I read a lot of articles on how I should bring it up to my landlord, and how to approach it, so I read a couple articles and they said start off really politely and just explain that you're gonna get an ESA. So that's what I did, and I'll read you the emails. I didn't speak to him in person, but I emailed him. I should have been prepared for this. I should have already had my email up. Okay. I started off by saying, hey, I don't know if I should say his name, so I'm going to make up a name. Hey Tim, my name is Brittany. I am a tenant at the property and I told him my address. Because I'd never emailed him before, I wanted to make sure he knew who I was. I recently have been doing some research on emotional support animals, and I think I would greatly benefit from having one. As our landlord, I just want to let you know that I'm thinking about pursuing this before I get a formal ESA letter from a therapist. If there is anything else you need from me, I'd be happy to oblige. So basically, I just let him know, like, hey, I'm doing this, just to let you know beforehand. I haven't gotten the letter yet, but I am going to. And our landlord has never really been mean to us. He's a really good guy. So I originally went into this thinking that it was gonna go great. And I knew in the back of my head that it could go really wrong, but I was like, he's such a nice guy. I've never had an issue with him. I really think it's gonna be fine. So he emailed me back and he said, so this is what he said. Hey Brittany and Ricky, pets are allowed at this property, so we could possibly get that approved. There are fees, pet rents, and restrictions that would apply, especially since you do have another animal. I do have a pig. He lives outside. Since you guys already have the pig, there would probably be some hefty fees involved. Having 2 or more animals significantly deteriorates the property, so there would likely be another pet fee of $150 minimum, in parentheses, that is basically for a small dog. Then, since you already have one pet, the next would add a $25 fee per pet minimum for a small dog. With the pig and the new pet, it would be a minimum of $25 for the pig and $25 for the new pet per month. So basically what he said is that I'm probably going to pay over $150 for the fee and $50 extra on my rent every single month if I was just getting a normal dog. He said there are also restrictive dog breeds that are considered aggressive by our insurance company. These are not our rules, but by the insurance company's standards, and some dogs that are not permitted are, but are not limited to, pit bulls. First of all, can we just say pit bulls are not aggressive? That's not how it works. Rottweilers, German Shepherds, Chow Chow, Doberman Pinschers, Mastiffs, Great Danes. I don't know if I'm saying this right. I think it's Alaskan Malamute, but that doesn't sound right. Maybe it's right. I don't know, but you know what I mean. Siberian Huskies. None of these dogs are aggressive. That's not how it works. I mean, I know a lot of people think that pit bulls are aggressive, so I understand why that's on there. I mean, I don't agree with it, but I understand. Then he explained that the pet is a cat. He explained all that, but I'm not getting a cat, so I won't read any of that. He said, let me know if you have any other questions. Thank you both, and I hope you have a great new year. So originally I was like, it's fine. He probably just doesn't know what an ESA is. So this is when I decided to educate him on an ESA. And when I read the articles, that's what they said to do. They said, give him some information about it. So that's what I did. So I emailed him back and I said, because the dog I'm getting is going to be my emotional support animal, under the Fair Housing Act, I am not required to pay any pet fees, nor do the breed restrictions apply. And I felt like that sounded pretty blunt and not rude, but just pretty blunt. So I decided to give him a quote, and then a quote from a website that I later on in that same email sent the link to. So the quote says, "The Fair Housing Act is a federal law that states any person with a mental or physical disability cannot be turned away from housing with their certified service animal or emotional support animal. This includes buildings and apartments that have a no pets policy in place. Landlords and apartment managers are required to make a reasonable accommodation for both service and emotional support animals." I said this website explains the FHA further if you have any more questions about it. Then I sent a link to the website, which has a lot of information, and I'll link it in the description if you want to learn more about ESAs. He emailed me back this: "You are, in all caps, allowed to have pets. I would ask that you go through the normal channels outlined in your lease if you would like another pet, not because you are required by law, but because it is the courteous thing to do. I feel that I'm a very fair landlord, and I would appreciate you extending that courtesy back to me. I cannot stop you from doing this, but I can ask you to treat me as you would like to be treated if you were a landlord." What? It's not a pet. It's a necessity to my health, and it's not the courteous thing to do to pay. I have a right not to pay. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to pay just because. It doesn't work like that. So I emailed him back. I said, "I respect you, and I see where you're coming from completely. A lot of people do abuse the ESA system because it's so easy to get one, but I personally would never abuse the system, and I'm only getting an ESA because I feel that I need it for my mental health. I have severe anxiety, depression, and panic attacks. I would feel much safer and more calm if I had a dog around to help me that I'm going to be training. I will not be doing this out of disrespect for you, as I feel that you have been extremely nice to us, and I do appreciate that. If I was going to get just a normal pet, of course I would go through all of the necessary requirements and guidelines, but I do consider this dog a necessity to my mental health rather than a pet. I hope you understand that this is why I'm not going to be following those requirements. I don't want to be on bad terms with you. I just really think I need to do this for myself, and I really hope you understand." And I felt like that was pretty nice. I think that what he said to me, I felt a little offended by it, but I was trying to be as nice as possible. I am going to have this landlord for a little bit over a year, so I want to be on good terms with him. The only reason I would be on bad terms with him is if he really isn't cooperating. At this point, I was really upset. I was like, I'm not trying to do this just to get a free pet. He said, "Please provide documentation from a licensed therapist, not just a general practitioner. Please also send me the pictures of the animal and inform me of the breed and all of that whenever you do get it. One thing that I would ask you to do as a favor to me personally is to stick with the smaller dog and avoid these restricted breeds." He said, "I don't feel like that is too much to ask. If one of these animals were to get out and attack someone, it could put you, Ricky, and Ricky is my boyfriend if I haven't mentioned that, and me, and anyone associated with us at risk for being sued for everything we own. I do not believe that is worth the risk. I would also strongly suggest that you add some type of protection to your current renter's insurance policy that covers dog bites and other mishaps that may occur with owning a dog. Please consult with your insurance agent to discuss this in more detail. Renter's insurance is fairly inexpensive. I will also start doing regular walkthroughs of the property to ensure that it's being cared for appropriately. As you read in the link that you sent me, if the property is not being properly taken care of, sorry, I'm stuttering a little bit. If the property is not being properly taken care of, at any point it will be in violation of the lease agreement, and the tenants will be fully responsible for paying to have the damages repaired by a professional and or be evicted due to violation of the lease. The responsibility for paying for any damages is not limited to the security deposit. If damages go above that amount, the tenant will be required to pay them, and if they are not paid, they will go to a collections agency and will go on to a credit report of any person that is on the lease." And that was it. I took this not so great. I was really upset. I thought that I was gonna have such an easy time just because he's such a nice guy. And it really upset me that he acted the way he did. I don't know if that's just me overreacting, but I felt like he was coming at me, and I just felt like that wasn't right for him to do. I was trying to be as nice as possible, and he was just being rude. But it's not over yet. Almost, but not yet. Basically, I said, how often will you be doing walkthroughs? Because he originally said he would only do them once a year, and he said as often as deemed necessary, and I replied back with, anyway, I will for sure let you know when I get the dog, the breed, and so on. I will be sure to keep our home from getting destroyed, and I will definitely keep up with everything that needs to be kept up with. We shouldn't have any issues with regular walkthroughs. I appreciate you understanding the situation, and I will get back with you soon. And I said that while I was really upset about it, but I tried to be as nice as possible. And that's it. I haven't heard from him since because I haven't gotten the dog yet. I will email him once I get the dog, and I'll let you know my conversation with him then if you'd like to know. But the reason I wanted to make this video is because I want you to see firsthand what it's like to have a conversation with a landlord he wasn't denying it. Like, he knew what, you know, I sent him that link. He read about ESAs. He knew that I didn't legally have to pay, but he still was trying to guilt trip me into paying. And I felt that the way he reacted wasn't right. So I just want you to know this could happen to you. It may not. You may email your landlord or talk to your landlord, and they may be totally understanding and completely educated on ESAs, but in my case it wasn't like that, and I personally wasn't denied an ESA. I have heard stories of that, of landlords flat out saying, like, we have a no pets policy, you're not allowed to have it, and that's illegal, for one, but I haven't seen any videos on it, and so I just wanted to make a video to let you know that you're not alone. I had an issue with my landlord, but we got it sorted out. If the camera angle changed a little bit, which I think it has, it's because it stopped recording and I had to start recording again. I'm kind of in a weird spot because on one side I'm like, okay, I want to respect my landlord and I don't want to get a dog as in the restrictive breeds, and I want to, you know, be on good terms with him. But on the other hand, it's like, I don't want to have to feel guilty for getting a dog that I think is perfect for me and not being able to get it because it's a German Shepherd or it's a Husky. And I just don't think that's right for him to have said that to me. I just don't know what to do, so if you know what to do, please tell me, because I'm kind of at a loss right now. So I'm not really sure what to do. The good thing is I haven't found the dog I want yet, so I can now look more into dogs that are like retrievers and labs and stuff like that. Dogs that aren't in the restrictive breed list. But that's my story time on how my landlord reacted to me telling him I'm gonna get an emotional support dog. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate you staying to the end with me. This is my second video on my channel. If you haven't watched my first video, I tell you a lot about ESAs, and then I tell you a little bit about how I came to realize I wanted an ESA. So if you want to know a little bit more about that, you can watch that video. Otherwise, I'm gonna go. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!